Take a look at this right here. This brand, these ads, these launch visuals, they were created by one AI super agent, and that agent is Higgsfield Supercomputer. Instead of just generating one thing, it's designed to handle an entire workflow. It doesn't just output content, it finds the gap, builds the product, creates the brand, launches it, and even thinks about distribution. So I wanted to test how far this actually goes. But that's not even the most interesting part, because I also used it to create a cinematic short film. And what really caught my attention wasn't just the visuals, it was how it maintained the same character, the same visual language, and the same story progression across multiple scenes. We'll get into how that works in a minute. So what makes supercomputer different? Most AI tools only handle one part of the job. One tool writes, another generates images, another makes video, another helps with marketing, but you're still the one stitching everything together manually. And that's where the problem is. Supercomputer changes that. It's built as a super agent that runs the entire creative workflow in one place. Not just the output, but the full system. And the real idea is this: it doesn't just do tasks, it runs loops. So the loop is simple. It starts from the gap, then moves to product, brand, launch, distribution, and feedback. Then it repeats. So what this basically means is it finds the gap, builds the product, shapes the brand, ships the launch assets, runs distribution, and then learns from feedback. In other words, instead of just generating content, it builds a system that keeps generating outcomes. Now, let's look at it in action with the first use case, the cinematic product promo. So here I'm showing two different workflows, and the first one is exactly this, turning a product into a cinematic ad. To access Higgsfield Supercomputer, you can use the link in the description at higgsfield.ai/supercomputer. And once you're in, the process is very straightforward. The first thing you do is head over to the dashboard and create a new task. This is where everything begins. What we're trying to do here is simple. We want to take a product link and convert it into a cinematic video. But instead of just blindly generating visuals, the supercomputer actually analyzes the product, understands the context, and then figures out the best way to create a converting video. So it takes the product link, studies the idea behind it, and builds a creative direction around it. For this demo, I'm using a product from timex.com. It's just a watch I like, and it works perfectly as an example. So I copy the product link and paste it into the supercomputer task prompt. Then I select the model, which is Orchestrator Gemini, and that works really well for this kind of workflow. I also enable the option to ask before generation, which is actually important. It means nothing gets generated without permission, so you can always control credit usage and review what's happening before it runs. Then I click generate, and immediately you can see what's happening behind the scenes. It starts thinking through the product link, pulling context, reading the documentation, and extracting information from the URL. So it's not just generating, it's actually analyzing. It builds context step by step, learns from the product page, and starts forming its direction. After a moment, it even extracts product images from the URL and then asks a key question. How would you like to showcase this cute Timex Snoopy watch? Now, it's moving into creative direction. It wants you to choose a format. So I select cinematic product promo and continue. From there, it starts building the storyboard. Then it asks for aspect ratio. I go with 16:9 because I want a cinematic horizontal ad format. Next, it asks about lighting style and brand vision. This is where things get interesting because it tries to match the mood of the brand. So I choose a luxury cinematic style, something like Cartier or Tom Ford aesthetic. And with that, it starts generating everything based on all those inputs. At this point, it even generates a reference image using GPT-2 to establish visual direction for the product. It asks for permission, and I approve it since it only costs a small amount of credit for the reference sheet. Then it generates the reference visuals, and everything starts coming together. the workflow feels synchronized, like every step is feeding into the next one. Now it moves into storyboard generation, and this is where you really see the system thinking in structure, not just visuals. Once the storyboard is generated, it lays out the shots, timing, and direction for the full art sequence. And from here, it's ready for video generation. Now we move into the actual video generation phase, and this is where everything starts coming together. Because at this point, the supercomputer is no longer just planning, it's executing. It uses the reference image we generated earlier along with the storyboard grid and combines both to generate the final cinematic video. But before that happens, it still keeps you in control. Since I set it to ask before generation, it requests confirmation again. And I actually like this because it forces you to stay aware of credit usage and every step of the process. So I choose a lower resolution, 720p, since this is just a demo and I don't want to waste credits. Then I click generate. Now it begins the full video generation process. It starts using Seedance 2 along with the assets we already created. So the reference image and storyboard are now actively shaping the final output. And what's important here is that everything is connected. The system isn't treating these as separate steps. It's treating them as one continuous workflow. After a short wait, the video is generated. And what you get is a complete cinematic product promo built from just a single product link. The system even gives a summary of what it created. And if you want to adjust anything, you can refine it further by prompting changes. But the key thing is this: the entire workflow stayed intact from start to finish. Product analysis, reference generation, storyboard creation, and final video output. Now let's move into the second use case, AI filmmaking. This is where things get even more interesting because instead of a product promo, we're now creating a cinematic short film with a continuous narrative. So I open a new task and paste in the prompt. The idea is simple but powerful. We're creating a cinematic short film following a single character called Kai, a futuristic courier moving across multiple connected scenes in a new city. And the key instruction here is consistency. Maintain strict character consistency, wardrobe continuity, lighting logic, and emotional progression across all scenes. Each scene must feel like part of one continuous visual story, not separate clips. So I set the model again to Orchestrator Gemini and enable Ask Before Generation, then click Generate. Now the system begins processing the idea. It analyzes the prompt and immediately understands it needs to maintain structure across multiple scenes, not just generate isolated shots. Then it asks an important question about character setup. Since I want to keep things simple for this demo, I choose no soul ID and proceed directly. Next, it asks how to split film. Because each AI video segment has limits, I choose to split it into 3 scenes of 10 seconds each. That structure becomes the foundation of the entire short film. From there, it enhances the prompt and starts building a full scene plan. It breaks everything down and asks for approval before continuing. So I approve the plan and proceed to generate the film. At this point, it also standardizes things like camera angle, lighting, and lens choice across scenes. And this is crucial because it ensures continuity between shots, which is often one of the hardest problems in AI filmmaking. Then I confirm generation and it begins producing all 3 shots. After processing, the final output is generated as a complete short film. And one of the most useful parts is that all 3 scenes are automatically merged into a single continuous video. So you don't need to manually edit or stitch anything together. You can either download each shot separately for further editing or download the full film as one complete sequence. Now, lastly, let's talk about skills and how to extend this system. So to import skills, you go to the sidebar, open the skill section, and you see a library of pre-built workflows you can install with just a click. And if you already have skills you created in Claude, you can upload them directly into the supercomputer. Then you can use them inside any task just by selecting them when you start a new prompt. It also supports connectors, which means you can link tools like Telegram, Google Docs, and even social media platforms. So it can help with planning, saving content, and even publishing directly. So what you're really looking at here is not just a video tool, it's a full creative system that can generate, plan, and distribute content. To wrap up, if you want to try Higgsfield Supercomputer, the link is in the description. And if you found this helpful, make sure to like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.